keys normally will be kept in volatile memory, so you can get, well, some keys will be kept in volatile memory, you can get rid of those. Inside the crypto engine, there is a component of that which can hold keys very tightly. Those keys are obviously never distributed into the system, so we can, and for key derivation, we can manage those very tightly. But it's not intended to protect against fibbing or something along those lines, and focus on being off devices. So the question, sorry, the green shirt, sorry?
This might be more of a subject that I'm going to talk about. Can you go into a little bit more how the unique identifier is created, how it's unique from the user?
Yeah, that's more for the later one, so with that, yeah, there's a bunch of crypto behind that. Sorry, next question.
When you introduce all the security measures and encrypting, it makes debugging systems very difficult, and typically programmers probably turn a lot of stuff off during development. So when it goes out of production, if you want to capture traces or something and take it back, do a lab analysis, how do you go about it?
Okay, yeah, debug, yes, that's the elephant in the room, isn't it? So the question is how do you enable people to develop systems with security and then switch on and switch off the debug. So we didn't get into it so much, but again, that's for later on. The debug has a 28-bit key, so we can switch that off in the same as part of the same cryptographic schema as we use elsewhere in the system. You can develop a lot of the system without fully implementing or switching on the secure MPU and flash access windowing and those sort of capabilities. So you can develop in the open and then at the end of your process, because once you switch those on, if you don't like what you've done, it's impossible to go back. So it's secure. So in a lot of those cases, you'll develop with those virtually in place, so you can understand the striping, but then switch those on at the end. But at that point, yes, you would not be able to debug back inside the secure MPU or any of those control windows. So you do have to then differentiate a bit those devices which you keep in-house where you understand what's going on, and those other devices where, you fix those things, you switch off debug as you're shipping the device. There are other things which you can do. Obviously, if you're trying to do RMA out in the field, you do have to evolve capabilities for letting people have the key for that device. So there are mechanisms to extract the unique identifier. They send that to you, you send it to you, you see the debug channel in that case, but that is a business capability as opposed to technical capability. Okay. Okay, I think we're out of questions, we're out of time. Thank you very much for your attendance. Okay, so we'll head on into this. Just a brief show of hands, if you don't mind. How many people were here for the previous presentation? Okay, probably about a third, half, something along those lines. Okay. So obviously in this presentation we're going to repeat some of the information to bring everybody up to speed, and then we'll look more at how we start to develop advanced IoT security and solution. And again, the intent of this presentation is to introduce you to the capabilities. It's not intended to be a complete teardown of the solution. If you have those questions, we're happy to talk about those afterwards, but hopefully there'll be some more information in here for everybody. As before, if you have a question, if it's relevant to a specific point, and it's a pretty sharp question, please shout out. Otherwise, I'm sure we'll have time at the end of the session for some more formal Q&A. Okay. So, Advanced IoT Security. My name again is Hayden Povey. I'm the CEO of a company called Secure Things. We're a security consultancy. We were set up in 2014 to really focus on these rapidly evolving security issues in the IoT space. And we've been working very closely with Renesas around developing some of the capabilities and making the most of the technologies in the new Synergy platform. So we do a bunch of things. Secure Thinking is our consultancy service capability there. And so, why me? Why am I up here? And why do I know about security? Well, previous to setting up the company, I was director of security technology at ARM. And that covered a very wide array of technologies, applications, and partnerships from technology which went into SIMs, bank cards, other secure elements, tamper-resistant security with ARM Secure Core, all the way up to TrustZone, which is security technology in handsets, tablets, servers, and moving into another array of devices. Through this, of course, we were defining what security looked like in the ARM architecture, but also working very closely with OEMs, network operators, and others to understand how they would use security technology, build it out, and all of the different aspects of that, from creation of devices to delivery of complex systems. Prior to that, I was Director of Embedded Processors at ARM. I was the original lead on the Cortex-M3 and all of the Cortex-M processors, so they were my babies in one way or another. And of course, those have been very successful. And finally, we got Renesas to catch on and move to the Cortex family, but we got there eventually. So, I'm now out on the outside. Just before that, again. Prior to ARM, I spent 10 years in the US and Europe working for National Instruments, and again worked with a lot of military, aerospace, automotive customers, so understanding the requirements of real-world systems, deterministic systems, applications where something goes wrong, things tend to explode or go bang. So a good background on really all things security, capabilities for those, requirements for those as well. But enough about me. Again, as I say, I'm going to repeat some of this, but please bear with me for those people who haven't been in the previous session. So again, in the Renesas ecosystem, there's lots of components to Synergy. There's obviously the device. And with the Synergy device, we're bringing through a lot of new technologies, and that's really fantastic and makes a huge difference to the security of a lot of applications. We have the platforms, we have the SSP, delivering a lot of value in terms of software creation and how we get new products to market. And then there's the solution space. This is really important, and again, from earlier you'll have heard me say this. When we think about security, we have to understand the solution that we are going to generate. Security is not something that you can easily add on afterwards. You have to think about it holistically. You have to understand all of the stakeholders. You have to understand the attack surface that you're going to suffer. So where may attacks come from? Who's going to attack you? What is the value of the attack? What are their capabilities? So you have to think about all of this, and you have to understand what is the damage of an exploit. So there's a much bigger solutions-oriented part around security than we would traditionally see around other technologies. So it's not something you can just grasp on afterwards. You have to think about the use cases, the value of what you're trying to build, and then figure out how you want to build it. And again, with Synergy, we have a bunch of great technologies which we'll go into for enabling this next generation of solution. So again, some of this framework is going to be similar to what some other people saw before. Again, relentless attacks on the Internet of Things. We'll have a look again at some of the requirements quickly. We'll go down into a quick review of the IoT security with Synergy, how we enable confidentiality, how we ensure integrity, and how we safeguard systems. And we'll cover that in the session, and then we'll have some Q&A, hopefully, at the end. Now, got a lovely picture here. It's one I found on the web of a lovely path, and I think this is a very good analogy of security for a number of reasons. First of all, there is a path through here. We can see where we're going. People have been down here before, but it's a very narrow path. People haven't been off that very far. It's kind of rutted. Some people have got dirty. Some people have probably suffered going down this path. And probably just around this corner or hidden in the trees is an attacker ready to mug us if we go wrong. There's a very good analogy to security, so we can think about this as, hey, this is fantastic, we know what we're going to do, but there are hidden dangers, there are hidden issues all the way along the road. And in this case, security is a science. Again, I mentioned this earlier. People live their whole lives doing security. I work very closely with some guys at the Royal Holloway University in London. And this is a specialist university for information security. And there are people there, who've been doing security for 30 years, 40 years, and they don't know it. So there isn't an expectation that all of a sudden all of us will be experts. It is a pathway, it is a journey. And today, again, we're just going to scratch the surface of that. So a review of the advanced capabilities. We recommend, over and above this, go and learn more, go and educate yourself further on security. Hopefully we'll give you a good start on this. And of course, there's lots of material out there. I was asked a number of times just over lunch, can I recommend a good book? What should I go and read first? And my answer to that is the Embedded System Security book by David Kleidermacher. If anybody knows David or don't know David, he was CTO at Green Hills for a number of years. So it's a very good book. It's kind of written independently of Green Hills. So it's a good overview of a lot of security content. So what's your strategy for IoT security? And in too many cases, it's exactly this. Yeah, we cross our fingers and hope that we've done enough. And that's really the case. So, we've got to try and think through, again, how we're going to protect systems, what is the attack surface, and what are the attackers going to do to try and break us down. Again, you've seen a lot of this, some of you before. Cyber warfare is pervasive. This is how bad it can become. So, again, the cost of a smart grid attack on the US is estimated at $1 trillion. And unfortunately, this is a realistic prospect. Again, some of you will know The NSA did an audit of the US grid system, and they found it to be completely full of rats and other malware, remote access Trojans. So the reality is the systems that we have built already are significantly flawed. We also know that we need to do security across the entire system, because attackers will focus on the weakest link in the system. So in this case, perhaps a connected light bulb. So this is a real attack where attackers have broken a connected light bulb, which is inside the trusted domain, the homeland's trusted network, and we're using that to attack the PC to exfiltrate bank details. So, from a personal perspective, I always believe that there's always some level of security required in every system. There's obviously going to be a huge array from the light bulb example to automotive, to defense, and aerospace. But we have to think when we're building IoT systems especially, how are we going to have multiple vendor systems sitting together? Who do I trust? How do I trust? How do I manage those systems? Now, big data requires security as well, and this is a great use case for the IoT. So, big data and the analytics behind that are fundamental for the IoT. It's a fundamental value in many ways. We can connect more things and we can make more decisions faster. We can be more efficient. But if we're going to operate on big data, if we're going to trust the analytics, we have to trust the data coming into our system, whether it's locally or whether it's remotely throughout the globe. And trust can only be achieved through the secure device framework. We have to deliver that. So and in our case, from Synergy, we can develop secure devices, so applications, IoT widgets. Then we can evolve that into trusted data. Only if we have the trusted data can we really deliver the innovative services which are going to push the IoT. Why is this important? Well, as of last year, and this was by General Electric, only 14% of factories were connected to the enterprise and connected to the internet. Which, given the issues that we have around efficiency, is a remarkably small number. So why is that? Well, it's because there's over 250 million attacks in 1 year on those factories. And as I said earlier, as device manufacturers, we have to be right 100% of the time. The attackers only have to be right a fraction of 1%. So it's a lot harder for us to get it right than it is for them to get it right.
So
that's again from GE. So the question, the source of the attack. So the question was, what is the source of those attacks? And that's generically all the different sorts of attacks. So from cyber criminals, cyber warfare, all of those above. The other interesting thing, and in this session I really want to point on to this one, a lot of people view security as a cost. So they go, well, I've got to invest a lot more in engineering. I've got to pay a bit more for my silicon. I've got to pay more for my software. I've got to do penetration testing. I've got to figure it all out. And it is a cost, but only if you don't view it holistically. If you can then develop new services because you can trust the data, there is a huge amount more value that can be generated from your product. A connected product which is leaking data should be worthless. A connected data which enables a new generation of services has intrinsically a lot more value in it. And just to put some numbers on this, again from General Electric, this is all about the 1%. So what does a 1% improvement mean in each of these different markets? So a 1% fuel saving in commercial aviation would save $30 billion over 15 years. A 1% efficiency gain in healthcare, $63 billion. 1% CapEx reduction in oil and gas exploration, $90 billion. So we're not moving the dial very far to recover a lot of that investment. So by connecting these devices securely, by enabling new services, we're enabling a rapid saving in costs for a whole set of different markets. And so, I'm very much of the opinion that yes, security can sometimes be challenging. Yes, sometimes security can be difficult. But the output, if we can enable new services, is a massive change in efficiency for the entire industry. So, more than maybe an upfront cost, there is an awful lot more value in doing security right. So, what are the major threats that we see? We can pull out some of those in marketing messages, but actually going back to this one, I think is the foundation. So a number of organizations kind of run a list of what are the critical attack vectors and things that should be improved. OWASP do one for top 10 for IoT. I actually prefer to go back to the Council for Cybersecurity. So the Council for Cybersecurity is a global NGO, non-governmental organization, focused on bringing through best practice in information security infosec. So the board of the council includes the ex-head of the NSA, the ex-head of the Secret Intelligence Service in the UK, ex-head of Symantec, and a whole bunch of other industry luminaries. It's run by the SANS Institute. And if we just look through here, there is these slightly darker ones. There's a whole set of things which can be applied directly to the Internet of Things. So an inventory of authorized and unauthorized devices, what does that mean? It means that we have to authorize our devices. We have to understand what is being attached. We have to understand when it's being attached. We have inventory of authorized and unauthorized software. What's running on our device? When was it created? When was it updated? How is it being managed? Who has access to it? It's not particularly rocket science in terms of the threats, but we don't see it applied so much to the IoT. Secure configuration of hardware and software. It's pretty brain dead. Of course it has to be secure. But what does that mean? Well, first off, it means switch off your debugger. And in too many cases, products are still shipped with debug on. Okay, there are cases where we need to do that for RMAing and other things like that, but there's a problem here. And the number of devices with ports left open. So shipping, with the back door not just unlocked, but left open, is incredible. We need to understand vulnerabilities. We need to be the first people to attack our own devices. Because there's a lot of attackers out there, they will come, they will try and attack your devices. So you need to be aware of what your vulnerabilities are before they are, so that you can roadmap them into your system. We have zero defenses against malware, application software security, secure configuration for network devices. Controlled access is a very interesting one. With the IoT, it's not enough to just authenticate the device. Because you're going to have multiple users, you have to also authorize who is using an interface into that device. So we have to create some more complex solutions for how we manage our systems, how we imagine they're going to be built. So you have to have a view to how you expect these things to be interoperated. You have to look at the security holistically. So there's then some more advanced ones. Does your company have security skills in there? Who's in charge of security in your organization? Have you done penetration testing? And then the interesting one is incident response. I was in charge of this at ARM as we got more and more into security. If there was a problem found in the architecture or microarchitecture or implementation of the device, what happened? In the same way, since you have a big problem with automotive, you have to have a recall. You do have to think about these things in advance. So it's a bit high level. So let's jump back down and focus on the challenges for IoT. Again, some of this I presented earlier. So 5 key security challenges. First of all, protecting intellectual property from theft. We had a demonstration on the Expo Hall the last couple of days showing how we can protect IP using the Synergy devices and using the root of trust, identity, authentication, and authorization. We have to look at how we separate critical functions, and we have to manage the device over its life cycle. Many people saw that earlier. It's worth repeating all of these things because these are the fundamental things. No matter how you tackle them, no matter how you deal with them, these are still the 5 key use cases that you have to think about in your design. Again, underpinning those 5 are the core technological requirements of confidentiality. So using cryptography to limit access to information. Integrity, ensuring the platform is trustworthy. Something which is measurable, something which you can guarantee and you can stand behind. And then availability, so guaranteeing reliable performance in all conditions, including under attack. So let's try and link that back to the Synergy itself. I think we've done enough of the high-level stuff. As I said earlier, I believe very strongly that security is a requirement across the Internet of Things. From the cheapest connected light bulb, connected widget, a door monitor on a connected alarm system, all the way up to the highest grade device, automotive, military, or whatever. Perhaps the first unique thing and the greatest thing about Synergy, from my perspective, is that we have applied security from top to bottom. And of course there's some right sizing in there, so we see at the high end with the Series 7, we have all of the capabilities. But even here, on the Series 1, the Series 3, we have symmetric cryptography accelerators, we have the true random number generator, we have the limited JTAG access, and we have the unique identifiers. And over time, other ones of these boxes will of course be filled in as the platform evolves. So in here, we can see we've got our core functions. We have symmetric crypto accelerators. So this is our AES, triple DARES, RC4, other accelerators in here. We have our asymmetric crypto accelerator, and this is acceleration engines for RSA and also for ECC. We have our hash accelerator, which allows us to ensure that the application and data is correct. We have our true random number generator, our asymmetric key generator accelerator as well, and also key secure storage. So we have a whole set of capabilities in here. So as I say, the first thing I really like is the fact that it covers from top to bottom. The second thing I really like is the focus on these asymmetric accelerators. I think that this is a highly differentiated capability in the microcontroller domain. And as we go to systems where we have to authenticate more often, we have to authorize more often, these things become more and more valuable because otherwise the amount of computational time and power, performance, it really becomes a struggle for us. So these are the crypto functions, and then in terms of the integrity functions, we have here, we have the limited JTAG access, we'll talk about in a second. We have the secure memory protection unit, we'll talk about the NPUs in a bit more detail in a second, and we have the unique ID. In terms of software, there's also a set of software components coming through. We have the crypto library, of course, so the APIs, we'll have a look at some of those as we go through. We have Secure Boot Framework. Again, this was what we were showing on the show floor for the last couple of days. And then we have VSA components and QSA components coming through as well. So what I want to do is break down into the next level of information. First of all, in terms of confidentiality, obfuscation is not a solution. A lot of people have asked me in the past, how do I hide the keys?